Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak. Today is Eid Al Adha and we are going to go pray.
Great sacrifice. We continue to remember them in our dua. Maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He elevates the status of the martyrs. He elevates their status in Jannatul Firdaus, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them for any shortcoming. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help and aid the Muslims and all those who are fighting for the religion of Islam. Understand? They are called, warriors who are fighting for the religion of Islam. These are the ones who are making sacrifice. So on the day of Eid, we remember the sacrifice of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and we continue to make sacrifices for this deen also.
Assalamu alaikum and hi everybody. Okay, so on this occasion, I'm going to explain to you all about the second Eid. In the first video, you all learned a little about the first Eid, Eid Al-Fitr. And this one is known as Eid Al Adha, which means the festival of sacrifice. Already you can probably tell that there are some differences between these Eids. Eid Al-Fitr is celebrating, the end of Ramadan, and this Eid is celebrating something else, which we will get into in a bit. Right now, the Imam is explaining to the people you see how to perform the Eid Salah. Similar to the first Eid, the Eid Salah is performed the same way. I will put a link to the video with the Imam speaking, to the congregation in the first Eid, and explaining how to perform Eid for those of you who are curious. So in a bit, I'm gonna have to get up and pray. Yeah. So after that, we're gonna go through what this Eid is about, the origin, and some of the things that go on. And I'm sure that many of you, when you hear this, you're going to be very familiar. Okay, and here we go. So, see you in a bit. Hey again, everybody. Okay, so the Eid prayer has just finished, and I'm going to go through a little more about what Eid Al Adha is about. So this Eid takes place on the 12th and last month of the Islamic lunar calendar. This month is known as Dhul Hijjah. For the first 9 days of Dhul Hijjah, we fast and perform a lot of worship according to the traditions of the Prophet Muhammad. May peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet said, "There are no days on which righteous deeds are more beloved to Allah than these 10 days. The 9th day is known as the day of Arafah, and according to the hadiths, our traditions of the Prophet, we fast especially on this day, as it is the day in which Allah forgives the sins of the year before and the year after. After the day of Arafah comes the 10th day, which is the day of Eid, today. For those of you who live in Barbados and other Caribbean islands, this is the time when you just say the coolieman or the salesman has come by and buy all your cows and sheep and goat, and you don't know why, but you're about to find out now. That will going on. So similar to Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha is also celebrated for 3 days, right? There is also the Eid prayer at the start of the day, as you just witnessed, and it's early in the morning, around like 7, 8 o'clock. Sometimes the other places have it at different times as well. However, one of the differences, unlike the first Eid, where you're recommended to eat something before coming to the prayer, with this Eid, one should eat the meat of the sacrificed animal or qurbani as part of their first meal. And this is something that's only done after the prayer. So as you can see, everybody's leaving now, and we're going to leave as well. So see you downstairs. Assalamu alaikum again, everybody. Okay, so I did not get to record the prayer the way I would have liked, but never mind. We are gonna go to Al Falah school, which is where they do the prep with the animals before sacrificing them, and giving out the meat to those who need it. So yeah. Okay guys, so as I was saying before, we're gonna go to Passage Road, which is where Al Falah School is. Al Falah School is the only Muslim school in Barbados, and we're gonna go there and see if we can get some sort of footage of the animals before they're slaughtered and before the sacrifice, and you know, the people and how the the ambience of what it's like being down there, and people talking and the food and stuff like that. So inshallah, may Allah make it easy, I will see you guys there. And here we are at Al Falah Primary and Secondary School. It's the only Muslim school in Barbados, and it's my past school. It's a great school, and it's here that you will see a lot of animals. There's a cow already, and there's some sheep, and people bring their animals here when they're busy for the day, to have them slaughtered, and sometimes they even stick around and help. But it's just to have that assistance where they need to have it, and preparation and stuff like that, to have the meat distributed. Assalamu alaikum everybody. Okay, so you're probably wondering, like, what is this Eid about? What is Eid Al Adha about? Eid Al Adha is to honor the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, or as you know him, Abraham, for the sacrifice that he made, and the test that God put forth to him when he was told to sacrifice his son. And it's about complete devotion and believing, truly in the oneness of God, and believing that, like firmly believing. And God rewarded him by telling him no, this was a test, and the reward was a ram, right? A ram sent down for him to sacrifice instead. So we continue to follow that tradition all the way till now, and that is what Eid Al Adha is about. And I can break it down in further detail later, but right now we're just here. We want to look at how they separate the meat and stuff like that to give to the needy and those people who come to get their animals sacrificed and stuff like that. So yeah, and we're gonna see some animals as well. Okay, so we're gonna go inside now, and as you can see, there are already some animals here. That's a sheep, so a ram there, I think, and then we have another ram over here, which is called a black belly sheep, which is like kind of native to here. And as you can see, there's a curtain there. That curtain is actually to block the view of those animals from what you see on this side. And you can see people walking around. People have been here early, and they are the workers cutting up the meat. They've already started this process from early in the morning, right after the Eid prayer. I think their Eid prayer begins a bit earlier than the one that I went to, just so that the workers can get to work. So you can see they're cutting up the meat on those machines, and those machines are very, very sharp. You have to be very careful and very focused when you're cutting meat on these machines. So all of these guys are very talented. What will happen is people will come, they will bring their animals, they will be slaughtered, and all in the same day, around the same time, they will take the meat, they will cut it up, some by hand to make smaller pieces, some by the machine because of the bone and cartilage to make the pieces smaller. They will put them in buckets or these big basins, and they will distribute them. So you can see that's a big chunk of meat right there. And yeah, they're just cutting by hand. Some people cutting by hand, some people cutting by machine. They will put them in these basins, they will put them in bags, and they will give them to their family, their friends, people who need it, people who can't afford to get meat at this point in time. So this meat goes very, very far, and I will go into how they separate it and the portions that they divide it into in a bit. As you can see, there are a lot of people here right now. Some of the people are the owners of the animals. Some of them are just bystanders, watching the workers do their thing. I think they're dealing with a cow here and then a goat. So you can see the cow there, and yeah, the kids are just watching. A lot of people crowding around. They're dealing with the goat there. What is this little boy doing? He's eating a cup. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, so you can see there are big chunks of meat in these buckets, large chunks, and this piece of meat right here, some of the muscles in it were still twitching after the fact. which is interesting, which is something that the body does, even though the animal has passed away. The brain still does, you know, the muscles still have their own muscle memory, I guess.
Doing photography now. Videography. Oh, yeah, what is? The name Dawood. Dawood. Oh, Peter local, yeah. Dawah. DAH or DA? Right. Okay. I can check it out. I probably come across that, you know. Yeah, I probably come across it. Yeah, I can double check it.
Touching back on the point that I made earlier, and I was telling you all about the origin of this festival. So I had mentioned that Abraham was tested, and God commanded him to sacrifice his son, and his son had consented to the will of God. But before the sacrifice could be completed, the Almighty sent the angel Gabriel to stop him and to send down for him a ram from the heavens to sacrifice as a reward. And this test demonstrated Abraham's faith and obedience to the Almighty against all odds. After all, why should anyone get too attached to anything or anyone in this world, any sort of creation, when everything is going to come to an end eventually? And God is the giver and the taker. And so He's the only one that we should fear and submit our will to. So it was a test in piety, and we honor and celebrate that sacrifice in this manner every year. Those who can afford it will buy an animal to sacrifice in honor of that. Muslims are recommended to divide the meat portions into thirds: a third for your household, a third for friends and family, and a third for the poor and needy in the community, whether they be Muslims or non Muslims. You can see already that a large part of this celebration involves reaching out to and sharing with those who don't have. The Quran states, وَلَبُدْنَا جَعَلْنَاهَا لَكُم مِّن شَعَائِرِ اللَّهِ لَكُمْ فِيهَا خَيْرٌ فَاذْكُرُوا اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهَا صَوَافَ فإذا وجبت جنوبها فكلوا منها وأطعموا القاني والمؤتر كذلك سكرناها لكم لعلكم تشكرون. This verse states, "We have made sacrificial camels among the symbols of Allah, in which there is a lot of goodness for you. So say the name of Allah over them when they are lined up for sacrifice. Once they have fallen lifeless on their sides, you may eat from their meat and feed the needy, those who do not beg and those who do. In this way, we have subjected these animals to you so that you may be grateful." This ruling applies to not just camels, but all forms of cattle. And the verse even hints to the next topic that we're about to discuss as it relates to sacrifice. There are rules that should be followed before, during, and even after the slaughtering of one of these animals. The animal should be fed and watered beforehand and treated kindly. It is also preferred that the owner of the animal, whether male or female, be the one to perform the sacrifice. The animal that is intended to be sacrificed should not be mistreated or dragged. It should be laid down gently, and a very sharp knife should be used. And it is important to make sure that the blade is sharpened beforehand. To use a dull blade is a cruel act and highly looked down upon. In addition to this, you should sharpen the knife away from the animal, not in front of the animal. And you should not sacrifice one animal in front of another. Yes, the animals are permissible for us to eat, but we are not sadists. We don't seek to torture or scare the animals any further. The red curtain that you saw earlier is to block the view of the other animals that are here for that exact reason. I'm sure a lot of non-Muslims have heard the term halal before. Like, you'll hear that Muslims say before we can eat the food, it has to be halal, or just make sure it's halal. Well, before slaughtering cattle, uh, Muslims will say Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, which means in the name of Allah, Allah is the greatest. Right? Performing a sacrifice in the name of Allah is what makes the food halal or permissible to eat. You see, with Muslims, it's all about the intention before the act. We sacrifice the animal to please Allah. We do it out of gratitude. And when we do it in the name of Allah. not in any other name. And when slaughtering, we don't slaughter anywhere above the neck because it's considered cruel and extremely painful for the animal. I could go through the specifics of how we slaughter an animal later in a later video, but essentially the way we do it, it is much less pain, and yeah, we're not trying to be cruel and cause the animal any more pain than it has to go through. Okay, everybody, so we're gonna take some time out to appreciate the skill that comes with doing this, cutting up this meat, whether it be by the machine or whether it be by the knife, like you see with the other guy there. These guys are so skillful to be able to do this, you know, because it's like really dangerous. Like you can see how fast that blade is moving, and this guy here is just all focused and stuff. All that meat. Let me show you in closer detail what it looks like. Look at this. Look at that. See how close his hands are to that blade? See that? So close, making them as small as possible. That could easily be his hand. Wow. So what happens is he cuts these pieces up into smaller bits. You can see the other guy is doing it with his knife. One guy holds it, the other guy cuts it, and that's a lot of beef, right? Because obviously that's not a sheep, that's a cow right there, yo. That's a cow. So he's cutting into smaller bits on that. Whatever he can't cut with the knife, he'll cut with the machine. And you can see he's cutting down. This guy here is taking the pieces that can't be cut by knife any further, or just big pieces in general, and all those small pieces that you see will go into a basin. Right? See, the guy's dragging them down, and it's a whole team effort. You see the guys enjoying themselves, just doing their thing. Now he's dragging all that into a basin, and they've been doing this from early in the morning. Right? They have like everyone brings their animals and they go in a queue. So one animal gets killed, they cut the meat for that animal, then they put that in basins and they put it in bags and they parachute it out, and then that person has their meat, then they do it to another animal, and that's working hard. So yeah, let's cut it for a bit longer, a bit more, shall we? At this point, he's just showing off for the camera, honestly.
Catch him. I want to catch him. I put him on newspaper. Name hardball. Hardball. You got this? Stay there. Go. Hardball. Good. Watch this. Go. Body camera. The mark that straight there over. Good. Good. Good man. Put here and go for the water. Good. The man is hard, man. Up in. Go to the. Yeah. In the hard ball. Let's go. Let's go. You want that for you? Listen.
You don't mind if I videotape, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is the meat. This is from a cow, right?
Yeah.
Is one cow or is just
No, yeah, this is one share of a cow.
one share of a cow? Okay, so there's more.
Yeah. A lot more.
Alhamdulillah, that's good.
Yeah.
So this is videotaping. So then you would take home, you would share with your family.
Yeah.
You will alhamdulillah, that's good. What's your name?
Harun.
Harun?
Yeah.
MashaAllah, Tariq. Good to meet you. What's your name? Usman. Okay, so this meat here, they'll take home the shares of this cow and they will share amongst their family and friends and stuff like that, and they will divide a part for the people who
who can't afford it, who need it, they're needy. So regardless of what Eid it is, whether it's Eid Al Fitr or Eid Al Adha, we always give something in charity. We give money and we still give meat as well. So this is a portion of a cow, as the brother was saying, and there's going to be more to come, inshallah. So each cow is around 800 pounds, and there are 11 cows, and there's still more to come. Just now, the brothers that had the what do you call it, portions in the car, those portions are probably around what, 100 and something pounds, if I remember correctly. So there's more of that to come. So that's just to show you the amount of meat, the amount of supply, and the amount of the amount of meat that gets shared around. That's just to show you how much that actually is.
And food is served, So after the workers work around midday, they cook the liver of one of the cows or the sheep, and they make biryani essentially. As you can see, that's what it looks like in the pot. Absolutely delicious. I unfortunately did not get to show you my plate because I was so hungry. I ate the thing before they could even put the camera on it. And you can't blame me, okay? If you wanted to see what it looked like, you should have been there. Kidding. But anyway, yeah. See, everybody's enjoying their meal. And yeah, everybody gets a share. And you can even get seconds, believe it or not. For me and many others, Eid Al Adha is a time of unity and community service. It presents an opportunity for us to better ourselves, increase in our faith, and help others in the process. And the impact of that is always felt. So this is for you guys. And I hope you enjoyed.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Eid Mubarak.
Hey again everybody, if you enjoyed this video, you can like and subscribe to keep up to date with future releases. This video marks the end of the Eid festivals of 2024. I will be doing a new series shortly, so stay tuned for that. And also stick around to the end for the little surprise that I left in for you guys. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum and see ya. Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone. Eid Mubarak. Let's go to Eid prayer. Assalamu alaikum everyone and Eid Mubarak. Today is Eid Al Fitr. Assalamu alaikum everyone and Eid Mubarak. Today is Eid Al Adha. Let's go to Eid prayer.
Dawah going on?